Hello, everybody. Good evening to everyone. I hope you can hear me. Am I audible? Can you just make use of the comment box and just give me a comment whether am I audible to everyone? Okay, thank you. So welcome again, and I would like to start by giving a very small introduction about myself. My name is Prasid. My roots are into management. I'm an MBA from Christ University, Bangalore, and I've got roughly 6 years of experience in the industry as a trainer. And right now, at this point of time, very importantly, I work with Password Publishing House as their product manager. Fine. So today, this evening, we are very fortunate to have a group of people here on the Zoom as well. And again, we have a couple of hundreds of people who are joining on Facebook Live as well for attending this session. And before I would like to get started, I thought I'll just give a very small introduction about what is today's program and what are the benefit that you guys will be having by attending my 1 hour program, right? So the name of the session I've given is Rediscover Yourself. And we'll be covering on areas like motivation. We'll be talking about the importance of setting goals in our life. And third, we'll talk about how you can make use of your time productively during this lockdown days. Okay, so this is the agenda for the day. So I'll just share the screen and just again confirm whether you can see my slide. Are you able to see my slide properly? Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so before we get started, there is a very small request from my end. All those people who have logged in on Facebook at this point of time, I would request everyone to like our page so that this will remain on top. When you scroll down, you won't get disturbed. So kindly like our page, and please understand, I'll be interacting with the people in the Zoom. We have hundreds of people have joined out here, and every time whenever I'm asking a question, see to it that you give your best possible answer every time whenever I'm asking a question. Okay, so like you see here on the screen, I've given the name of the session as Rediscover Yourself. And why this name is because see, we all have mobile phones at home, and in your mobile phone we have a lot of applications. Say for example, Facebook is an application which is helping us today. WhatsApp is another application, and camera is another beautiful application. So n number of applications we have at this point of time in our mobile phone. And my dear friends, you might have also observed the fact that every 2 months or every 3 months you get a very small message on your phone requesting your permission to upgrade it to the latest version. Okay, and what we normally do is we upgrade it instantly so that you move from version 1 to version 2. So I'm a person who believes that if there is something that is constant in today's world, that is what I call as change. And if you are a person who has direction, if you are a person who is aware of what is happening, and if you are a person who has a foresight, and if you are able to constantly reinvent and re-energize and then rediscover yourself, there is a greater possibility for you to succeed in life. So that is the genesis of the name of today's session. I've given it as Rediscover Yourself. Let's move ahead and let's see what all things we'll be covering. So like I told minutes before, there will be 3 areas which we'll be discussing today. Number 1, we'll be talking about the importance of motivation. Second, we'll be talking about the importance of having a goal. I'm not talking about a dream. I'm talking about the importance of having a goal. And it doesn't matter whether you are in the high school, doesn't matter whether you are in the senior secondary, unless and until you are a person with a smart goal, you're not going to reach monumental heights in your life. So that is the second area which I'll be covering today. And third, very importantly, I'll be talking about how you can make use of your time productively, especially your lockdown days, how to make use of it productively. These will be the 3 areas which I'll be talking about today. Now, I've got a lot of expectations from all those beautiful people who have logged me either on Zoom or on Facebook. I've got 3 expectations from every participant. Number 1 is, as long as we are together here on this platform, every time whenever I am communicating something to you, I want everyone to listen to me very actively. I don't want you to hear from me. Now, please understand there is a visible difference between these words, hearing and listening. Hearing is very passive. And listening is very active, which means whatever I'm telling to you, you're able to understand, you're able to take it inside, and you are willing to make a change. That is what we call as listening. So as long as you are here with me in this platform, please see to it that you keep on listening to me. And point number 2, I've written it as advisable you make notes. And it's been told that no matter how many times you read something, if you don't revise it constantly, within 24 hours, you might have lost 50% of what you have gained 24 hours back. So please see to it that you have a small sheet of paper, probably a notepad and a pen, or even a notebook will do. See to it that every time whenever we are discussing something, you keep on writing things in your diary or a convenient place. And my class, even though I'll be making use of a slide, the number of slides I have inside my presentation is very less. Many of the times it might be an image that will be shown to you. Many of the times I'll be communicating to you in the form of a story. And I'm a storyteller, and I'm a person who believes that if something can be communicated in the form of a story, I get better eyeballs from the listeners. So you need not even take it like a class. You can take this like a storytelling kind of a mode of presentation. So every time, see to it that your eyes are fixed on the screen, and every time whenever we are telling something, kindly scribble down the points on a sheet of paper. And it is again advisable that you should refer it immediately once the class is done, so that you have 100% clarity on what we have discussed. And third expectation from you is very simple. I want everyone to be active, and we will have to make use of this chat box very extensively. Every time when I ask you something, yes or no, just in simple words, just give it to me, so that we'll keep it very lively and active. And I'm a person who believes that there are two kinds of fear. Number one is what we call as fear of failure. And the second is what we call as fear of making a mistake. And the second one is what we normally see inside a classroom. The teacher is asking a question. The teacher, the trainer is asking a question. You know the answer, but you're afraid, what if my answer goes wrong? In my class, everything will be a right answer. Even if it goes wrong, it is perfectly fine for me. So see to it that you give your beautiful answers every time I'm interacting with you. And all those people who have locked inside the Zoom platform, it would be great if you can turn on your cameras. I'm doubtful whether the host has given you the permission for that. But see to it that you maintain close connect with whatever we are discussing today. Okay. So before I move forward, let me ask you a very small question to you. Can I get a hi from all those participants here? All those people who are inside the Zoom platform, will it be fine if you can give me a hi? I've given my hi to you. Okay, great to see a lot of people are here. Okay. My question to you is very simple. Motivation is of two kinds. Number one is what we call as external motivation. And we get this external motivation probably from a book. You might get motivated by the words of your teacher, or probably you have your friends who keep on motivating you, and these are all external source of motivation. Number two is what we call as internal or intrinsic source of motivation. If a person wants to achieve greater success in his life, what kind of motivation is that we require? Is it internal or is it external? Can you give a comment in the comment box? I'll just see how many of you have got me right early in the evening. So my question is very simple. Is it internal motivation or is it external motivation, which will really help you to scale monumental heights in your life? Okay, thank you very much. I'm getting a lot of comments. See teachers, trainers, we feel very excited when people respond to the question that is being asked. So see to it that the energy, the momentum is maintained throughout session. So a lot of people have given comments inside the chat box, and you're telling undoubtedly what we need is internal motivation, which means I should feel motivated by myself. And there is nobody who is acting as an external agent, no teacher, right? No friend, no book that will give you motivation. Every single day, you have to be motivated by yourself. On those thoughts, let me move back to my screen. I'll just share the PowerPoint again, and we'll just see. Okay. Fine. So this is our first topic for the day: how to stay motivated. And I would like to start by giving a very small example of a great personality who looks like this. Can someone tell me who is this man? It's not very easy to figure out who is this human being. So initially, every time when I'll be giving an example, it might find a bit tough for you. But as we progress, I promise I'll give you familiar images. Is there someone here in this group who can give me a comment? Who is the person highlighted on the screen? You can give your ideas. If you know, otherwise, don't worry. I'll just give you the answer straight away. Okay. So the person on the screen, his name is Vince Pasante. And Vince Pasante is a man who has scored 100 out of 100 in any angle you check in his life. He has got his master's from the very famous Massachusetts University. And this man is a business consultant, which means all those great companies that you know at this point of time, like Google or Facebook or any company that you name, all these companies, they wait in the queue for hours to fix an appointment and talk to this gentleman. He's a business consultant, he's an author, he's a speaker. And this man is actually from Sweden. Now, a couple of years back, this gentleman wrote a beautiful book. And the name of the book is The Ant and the Elephant. Okay. And that's its name on top. It's called Vince Pasante. And that's the book written by this gentleman. So if I tell you to do a very small activity right now, will you be happy to do it along with me? If I tell you to do a very small activity in your mind, will you be able to cooperate with me? That is my question. Yes or no? If you can comment in the comment box, I would be motivated to share it with you. What is activity? Okay, thank you very much. I'm getting a lot of answers. So a lot of people commenting, yes sir, we can do that. Fine. So I want everyone to close your eyes for a moment. Of course, I cannot cross check this, but I'm assuming that you're all very good students. So what I want you to do is, all those participants, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. When I'm telling close your eyes, you will have to close both your eyes. Close both your eyes. And I'm telling you to imagine something. I'm telling you to pictureize something in your mind. So please do this along with me. This is something which will sound very funny. You will feel like laughing, but don't laugh. You'll have to control yourself. Okay? It's a very funny thing. So what I want you to do is to imagine a very huge elephant in your mind. Please imagine a huge African elephant in your mind. I'm not talking about an Indian elephant. I'm talking about a huge African elephant. It will not fit inside your room, wherever you're seated right now. So I want you to imagine a huge African elephant. I hope you're able to visualize something in your mind. Don't open your eyes. Keep on listening to me. Second thing, what I want you to imagine is a very small ant. Please imagine the tiniest possible version of an ant in your mind. Now keep on listening to me. Don't open your eyes. Keep on listening to me. The ant is seated on the back of the elephant. The ant is seated on the back of the elephant. The elephant is moving in the left direction. The elephant is moving in the left direction. The ant which is seated on the back of the elephant is moving in the opposite right direction. I hope you are able to visualize this. An elephant is moving in the left. The ant is seated on the back of the elephant. The ant is moving in the exactly opposite right direction. You can now open your eyes. You can now open your eyes. Thank you very much for cooperating with me. Now I've got a very small no-brainer question to you. No-brainer, which means you can give it very simply. My question is, can someone tell me in which direction is the ant moving right now? Is it towards the left or is it towards the right? You can give your comments in the chat box. Your time starts. Okay, I'm getting a mixed set of answers. Someone is telling right. The ant is moving towards the right. I got left in between. Someone is telling, sir, ant is moving backwards. Okay. Right, 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 left. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Now the right answer is, the ant is moving in the left direction. Why? Because no matter wherever it is seated or in which direction is it moving, the ant will automatically move in the direction where the elephant is moving. Yes or no? Right? Doesn't matter whether it is moving towards the right. Since the ant is seated on the back of the elephant, the only option it has is to move towards the left. So this is a very small book written by Vince Pasante. And Vince Pasante is a person, like I mentioned minutes back, is a man with great content, great knowledge. He is an author, he's a speaker. And what made him to write this book? Let me tell you that as well. This man is very fond of ice skiing. I hope you know what is ice skiing. I'm not talking about ice skating, I'm talking about ice skiing. And every day he practices this with his friends. One day he was practicing with his friends, and then he asked quickly one of his friends, do we have any competitions in ice skiing? And his close friend told him, they all made fun of him, they mocked him, and his close friend told him, we have a lot of competitions, we have the World Olympics. If you want to compete, you can go and then compete in the World Olympics. That was the answer that Vince Pasante got from his friend. Now this was like a thick slap on his face. And you won't believe, for the next 4 years, Vince Pasante practiced every single day for hours. For the next 4 years. After 4 years, he represented his country for the next World Olympics. And this gentleman got Olympic gold medal for ice skiing. Olympian author speaker Vince Pasante. And the book written by him is called The Ant and the Elephant. I've given a very small story which I've read from that book. Now what he tells in this book is, if you can go back to the story that we have discussed, the ant and the elephant, very easy to remember. What he tells throughout the book is, the elephant in the story is your conscious mind. And the ant in the story is your subconscious mind. So again, if I have to link this with the concept of motivation, unless and until you are a person who is internally motivated, things are not going to happen in your life, my dear friends. So that is our topic number one, my dear friends, how to stay internally motivated. On those lines, let us continue with our session. So again, I would like to introduce another character, another personality. So this is where we stopped, and we are talking about how to stay motivated. So step number one, when it comes to internal motivation, is what we call as having clarity about your purpose in life. If you are a person who knows the direction in which you have to travel, if you are a person who has knowledge regarding the direction in which you have to travel, which means if you are a person who has 100% knowledge regarding your goal, what you want to become, then there is a greater possibility that you will make it very soon. So let me start by sharing another example for you. And the example is here on the screen. Can someone identify the character on the slide? You can give it a try. It doesn't matter even if it goes wrong. The other day I was in a class, someone told me, sir, he is a very old man. Okay. So any answers for this? Can someone tell me who is the gentleman in this image? The character in this image, his name is Dr. Govindappa Venkataswamy. And a story which is very motivating for everyone. Dr. Govindappa Venkataswamy, a Tamil Brahmin from the city of Madurai, having scored great grades in his school, passed out of school and college in flying colors, and this man was very quick to join Indian Army. And Dr. Govindappa Venkataswamy joined Indian Army in the rank of a lieutenant, and he joined Indian Army, Indian Medical Corps, as an eye surgeon. And his career started there. 15 years of service with Indian Army. Dr. Govindappa Venkataswamy was infected with a disease, and this disease left his right hand crippled. Crippling, I believe you know, it's kind of a paralysis. All other parts of his body working fine, but his right hand stops to function. So just imagine, this man was known as the finest eye surgeon in the world at this point of time. Within 15 years of service with Indian Army, Dr. Govindappa Venkataswamy was known as the world's finest eye surgeon. And that's when quickly this happened, his right hand stopped to function. And this was a terrible feeling for him. And this man took retirement from Indian Army. He came back to his hometown, Madurai, and he joined the Madurai Medical College as a lecturer, as a professor. He continued his journey there for another 10, 12 years. And the year came 1977. When the year came 1977, Dr. Govindappa Venkata Swamy was really pained to see something really tragic happening in our country. And in the year 1977, we had close to 1 million patients in India who were infected with eye-related diseases. So in the year 1977, after retirement, after being a part of Madurai Medical College, in the year 1977, his age at that point of time was 67. He's very old at that point of time, 67 years of age. Dr. Govindappa Venkata Swamy decided on what he wanted to do with this later part of his life. And Dr. Govindappa Venkata Swamy started a very small hospital. It was not even a hospital at that point of time. You can probably call it a small clinic. So Dr. V started a clinic in the year 1977. His age at that point of time was 67. And now many years have passed by. Dr. Govindappa Venkata Swamy is no more. He passed away. But the small clinic started by Dr. V still stands tall as one of the finest hospitals in the world when it comes to eye care related ailments. And the name of the hospital is Aravind Eye Care Systems. And this hospital is having close to 1,700 vision care centers in different parts of the world. And towards the left, you will find, Dr. Govindappa Venkata Swamy is standing very next to the president, the then president of India. And in the year 1995, he got a Padma Bhushan, one of the highest civilian awards an Indian can get from his country. And he passed away, but the legacy continued. And even now, Aravind Eye Care is known as the world's finest eye care chain. Now, why am I telling the story of an old man early in the beginning of the session? I had thousands of many other examples, and I'm giving you the story of a person whose age was 67 when he started his journey. My point is very simple, my dear friends. If a man at the age 67 could make such a change in this world, if a man at the age 67 could decide what he wanted to do with his life, and if he could make it at that point of time, think about yourself. You are students in the high school. You are students in the senior secondary of a school. Just imagine what all kind of miracles can happen in your life if you can think about what you want to become in your life. Now that is my story number one for you. So let us recollect again. We are talking about the importance of motivation. And under motivation, we are talking about the importance of internal motivation. How to stay internally motivated. We are on point number one. And point number one, we are talking about have clarity of purpose in your life. And under that, I've given the first example. The first example on the screen was that of Dr. Govindappa Venkata Swamy. I hope so far I'm clear. Let's move to the next example. And I strongly believe this is going to be something that is really very familiar for you. And I'm pretty much hopeful that a lot of people will tell me who is this personality on the screen. Can you give me comments in the chat box? Can someone tell me who is a person in the image? I'll just move to the image again. So identify the personality here. Can someone tell me who is this? Okay, thank you very much. Undoubtedly, that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can someone tell me again from which country is Arnold Schwarzenegger? Someone is telling the name of Terminator fame Arnold. Thank you very much. Can someone tell me from which country is Arnold? He is from America, someone is telling. Karthik is telling he's from Switzerland. Okay, he's a Russian, he's an American. Okay, actually he is from Austria. He migrated to USA because he wanted to fulfill his goal in life. And Arnold Schwarzenegger decided at the age of 15 that he wanted to become the finest bodybuilder the world has ever seen. So the first example, we talked about Dr. V. The decision about what he wanted to become in his life was taken at the age 67. And here in the case of Arnold, we are talking about his goal setting that was done at the age 15, which means roughly probably 10th standard. Yeah, more or less that age. So Arnold decided at the age 15 that he wanted to become the finest bodybuilder the world has ever seen. Started lifting weights in the gymnasium at the age of 15. When his age was hardly 18, Arnold Schwarzenegger was ready to compete for Mr. Universe bodybuilding championships. But there was a rule in America at that point of time. Unless and until you turn 20, you can't compete for the competition. So he had to wait for another 2 more years. And exactly at the age of 20, Arnold Schwarzenegger went for his first competition. And this man was a winner. And he became Mr. Universe. And you won't believe, for the next 7 times he was Mr. Olympia. And he was a champion for the next 14 years. So, second example, if you closely analyze, his decision about what he wanted to do with his life was taken at the age 15. Let us take one more example. Let us see how it looks like if you decide on what you want to become at a bit more young age. Can, one second. Okay, can someone identify the image that you are seeing on the screen? Can someone tell me who is this child? There's a very famous story. Can someone tell me who is this? Who is the person in the image? Okay. Can someone give me a comment? Okay, I've got an answer here. I've got more answers here, and people are telling this is Ryan. Okay, this is Ryan, R-Y-A-N. From which country is Ryan? Any idea? It's a very famous story. Very famous story. Story of Ryan. From which country is Ryan? Is my second question to you. You have easily told me the name, so I'm just asking you a bit more tougher question. You don't feel bad. Okay. Again, I've got a couple of answers. Okay. This little boy is actually from Canada, and he is from a place called Kemptville in Canada. And Ryan was studying in his class 1 when a very great incident happened in his life. A teacher was taking a class, and during the class, the teacher was telling about the difficulties of children in African countries where every day they have to walk miles to fetch drinking water. And after the class was done, Ryan went to the teacher who took the class, met her in the staff room, and told the teacher that, "Ma'am, I feel I should do something to help those poor children living in African countries. So will you please tell me, if I help you to construct a well in Africa, so that the poor children can have clean and safe drinking water, how much money will I have to give you?" The teacher was really shocked because, first of all, he's studying in grade 1, and you don't expect questions like this from a student who is studying in class 1. And just to shoo him away, the teacher gave a very rough estimate. The teacher told him, "Probably, my dear son, you need $70. Ryan thanked this teacher. He went home. And in the evening, when the family was having dinner, Ryan shared his idea of constructing a well in a different planet or in a different continent with his parents. And his father immediately told him, "I will give you the money, but there is a condition. Condition is very simple. In return for the money which I'll be giving you, you will have to do a very small task in a house. You clean the window of our house, I'll give you $1. You help your mother every day in the kitchen, I'll give you $2. You help me to wash my car every day, I'll give you $3. So this was agreement. And Ryan badly wanted the money. So Ryan agreed to all these terms and conditions. And the next day onwards, every single day after coming back from school, even before having his tea and snacks, Ryan settled down for work at his own house. And it took him closely 1 month. Every day he didn't have work. After 1 month, he collected $70, and with a lot of excitement, with a twinkle in his eye, the very next day morning, he went to the teacher and handed the money to her. The teacher was really shocked. And the teacher never thought this boy was so serious about it. Now later what happened, the teacher and the student together, they approached an organization with the name Water Can. I hope some of you might have heard about this name Watercan. They're a very famous charity organization. They do their charity work mostly in the underdeveloped parts of the world. So Watercan officials, they told, we are not sure with $70 we would be able to construct a well. Give us some time, we'll get back to you. After 2 days, they got a communication from Watercan officials. They told, if you want to construct a well in Africa at this point of time, the investment that is required is not $70, we need $2,000. And later what happened? Ryan was so determined. Ryan badly wanted to make it happen. And Ryan's determination made him a place in the local newspapers. And interviews started happening on live channels and all. He soon became a celebrity, a child in a different part of the world who was studying grade 1 has got a great goal like this. This was something new for the entire world. So what happened? People started donating money. More and more people started donating money. Checks started coming to his house in his name. And this time, my dear friends, it took him only 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, he collected $2,000. And the first well is being constructed here. That is where I've given a small image again. And the other day, someone was telling, sir, it is a film shooting that is going on. No, they are constructing a well in the compound of a school somewhere in Africa. And you will find Ryan here in a green t-shirt. Ryan is standing very next to the officials. They are constructing a well in Africa. Now, this is a kind of a goal setting that was done by a child studying in grade 1. And this is how Ryan looks like at this point of time. And this is Ryan for you as of today. And Ryan is running an organization with the name Ryan's Well Foundation. And Ryan Well Foundation so far has constructed more than 120,000 plus similar kind of wells in different parts of Africa. And he is very closely associated with the United Nations and UNESCO for their CSR and also for the charity related projects. And all this is Ryan for you. And he is a Canadian activist. Ryan Reljic is his name. This is Ryan for you today. So why am I telling the story of Ryan? I'm telling this to you because he decided what he wanted to become when he was in grade 1. So please understand, the earlier you have clarity about what you want to become, that is when miracles start happening in your life. So far, is it clear to everyone? Is it going fine? Can you give me a comment in the chat box? Is it going fine so far? Is it going fine so far? It's been 30 minutes of time we have been together. Please give your comments in the chat box. That will motivate me to move further. Okay, thank you very much. Let's proceed. Okay, so 1 second, my dear friends. Okay, so we were here. And let's move to the next slide. And I've written, goals have to be smarter. Can someone tell me what is the difference between a dream and a goal? Please make use of the comment box and tell me, what is the difference between a dream and a goal? Or which one would you prefer, dream or goal? Let's go for that. Okay, people have given me answers. Someone is telling goal is something we set on a daily basis. Beautiful. Goal is something, okay, goal is something that we see every day. I prefer goal. Okay, fine. I got it. So the difference is very simple. See, we dream about a lot of things every day. It is possible for you to dream about n number of things at different points of time in our life. I'm deeply associated with career guidance related sessions and all. I've been to a lot of schools giving sessions on career. And it's very interesting thing to see. Early morning, I ask children, what do you want to become? Morning, they tell, sir, I want to become a doctor. By noon time, they might have shifted gears. They tell, sir, I want to become an engineer. By evening, they want to be a part of merchant navy or something. So that's what I call as a dream. Now, what is a goal? Goal is something that is very specific. Goal is something that is having a deadline. Goal is something that is going to give you clarity in your life, and how to set a smarter goal. That is what we will discuss here. So let me go back to my screen again. Okay, so I was telling goals have to be smarter. Okay, now please tell me, who is the person on the screen? Identify the personality on the screen. This is very simple. Identify the personality on the screen. Will I have to share it again? Sorry, I closed it in a hurry. Okay, it's here on the screen. Identify the person on the screen. Do we have answers? Yes. He is a Hollywood star, I guess. Okay, fine. Any other answers, my dear friends? Any other answers? Definitely, he is from Hollywood. He is from entertainment. Karthik has given me an answer. That is Steven Spielberg. Thank you very much. Let's we can't hear or we can't see people clapping, but still it would be great if we can give a small appreciation to the person who gave the answer. Thank you very much. And there are a lot of people who are giving answers, and we are getting the answer Steven Spielberg. Thank you. Okay, am I audible now? Is it fine now? Okay, thank you very much. So we were talking about Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg, when he was filming the Jurassic Park film, he used to tell that many of the times I even skipped my breakfast, which means the time is 12:30, 1 o'clock. That is when I quickly remember, oh, I didn't have my breakfast today. So goals have to be exciting, my dear friends. Goals have to be exciting. Earlier it used to be smart, and now here on I would say your goal has to be smarter. Smarter means your goals have to be exciting. Let me take another example, and let's move back to the screen again. And here on the screen you will find Asim Premji, who is the founder of the very famous founder chairman of the very famous Wipro company. And he told a very wonderful this thing about goal setting. He tells, if people are not laughing at your goals, then probably your goals are very small. Let me repeat that again. If people are not laughing at your goals, then probably your goals are very, very small. Another example for you, and this time I don't have an example on the screen, but I'm just curious to know from you. If you take the 20th century, in which century do we live right now? In which century do we live right now? Any answers? We are in which century right now? Someone is telling 20th. Okay, 21st. Okay, we live in the 21st century today. Let's move to the 20th century. Can you tell me a few examples of people who have made 20th century think a lot, which means their vision, their ideologies have really shaped up the entire century. So who all will be those great leaders the world has seen in 20th century? Can you give me some answers? Mark Zuckerberg, probably 21st century. Okay, someone is telling Albert Einstein. Okay, Robert Downey. Thank you, Junior. Okay, fine. Elon Musk again. That's again another. But again, I would say that was 21st century. Stephen Hawking. Thank you for that. Albert Einstein is another answer I'm getting. Mussolini. Okay, fine. Hitler. Some Karthik is telling Hitler. Okay. John F. Kennedy again. Beautiful answer. My dear friends, a very small study was done a couple of years back, and they wanted to know who all are the people who have made monumental changes in the 20th century. And this survey took a lot of months, and they took answers from thousands of people from different parts of the world. And finally, we got the first 10 list of people. And I would like to comment on the first 3 people who came in the list. Whom do you think came as number 1? So we're talking about the first slot, the second slot, and the third slot. I'll give a very small clue. The first name and the second name are Indian names. They are from India. Okay, thank you. Someone gave it to me, Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you very much. The first name that we got in the list was that of great Mahatma Gandhi. The second name what we got was that of Swami Vivekananda. And the third name that we got was that of great Albert Einstein, great scientist. Now let us come to the first name, Mahatma Gandhi. Can you tell me the birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi? Where was Mahatma Gandhi born? Don't tell me hospital. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi was born in Porbandar. Mahatma was born in Gujarat. Okay, any other answer? He was born in Porbandar. I'm getting a lot of answers. Gujarat. Okay, birthplace of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, someone has given me the district as well. Okay, Gujarat. I'm getting a lot of answers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your answers are wrong, my dear friends. Mahatma was not born in India. He was not born in Porbandar. He was not born in Gujarat. Mahatma was born in a different country. You are right when it comes to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born in India. He was born in Porbandar. But my question was, where was Mahatma born? Mahatma was born later. Mahatma was born in South Africa. I hope you know the story. He was thrown out of the train. The moment he was thrown out of the train, he decided a day will come when I will throw you out of my country. That moment, a great personality was born, and that's why we call him Mahatma. So there is something what we call as rebirth, right? And some of you might have read this as well. A man is born twice, right? So twice in the sense, the day when you decide what is the purpose, what is it that you badly want to achieve as a human being on this planet Earth, that is when you're really born. You might have read this in a lot of books and all. Okay, so this is what we call as a SMART goal. And how to set SMART goals. Let's move back to the slide again. And we were here, and then I asked a question about Gandhi. Okay. It is pretty much advisable, once you have decided what is it that you want to become in your life, it is advisable that you should write down your goals. Can you please read those 2 sentences I have scribbled on my PPT? You're seeing this on the screen. Can you please read these lines? I want you to read this loudly. I can't hear you obviously, but still advisable. Please read it loudly. Please read these 2 sentences. I'll pause for a few seconds so that you can read it. Thank you very much. I'll just highlight this again. So it goes like this. By 1980, I'll be known as the highly paid Oriental movie star in USA, and the savings in my bank account would be $10 million. In return for this, I will give my best possible acting I could possibly give every time I stand in front of the camera, and I will live in peace and harmony. These are the words of a very famous Hollywood actor. And these 2 sentences I have taken from a secret letter which this very famous Hollywood actor wrote to himself. And it happened many years back. It happened exactly in the year 1977. In the year 1977, someone decided 3 years from now, which means by 1980, I'll be the best actor. And the savings in my account is going to be $10 million. In return for this, I'll give my finest possible acting. Now, these are the words of the very famous Bruce Lee. Now, what is really motivating about these sentences two sentences from the secret letter is this, very simple, my dear friends. I told you Bruce Lee wrote this in the year 1977, and the target was actually 1980, 3 years from now. But unfortunately, Bruce Lee died in the year 1979. But what is really interesting is, by the time he passed away in the year 1979, savings in his bank account neatly reflected $13 million of savings. That means he exceeded a goal which he had set for himself. And pretty much advisable. You might be having a lot of dreams initially, and slowly your dreams, you will filter it, you will identify a goal that is connected with your passion, that is pretty much connected with your skill and all those things. And finally, you decide, and this advisable, you should write it down. Written goals are very, very powerful. Once you write it down, it starts to happen in your life. Let's move ahead. And this is another example of Jim Carrey, another beautiful Hollywood actor. And what he did, he wrote a $10 million check. And this check was with him full time. Every time when he went for a shooting, when he went to a shooting location, this was kept inside his purse. And he achieved what he wanted to become even before the deadline that he had set. Now, there's another beautiful thing for you to read. I hope you can see what is there on the screen. Can you read this again? There's a very small case study. I've written a few things. Can you read this? Not in your mind. Please read this loud. I hope you're done. Okay. Now this talks about a boy who had a very ordinary career in his life. Nothing extraordinary in his life. And in the school, he was very shy. He always used to fumble behind a chair. He never used to respond to questions that were asked by teachers inside a classroom. Very nervous, very afraid to come and then speak in front of a crowd. And nothing extraordinary performance in the school. Somehow he managed to pass out of school, and then he did some degree program, and then he got married later and he had children, but he was not having a job. So how does it look like, success or failure? How does it look like, success or failure, my dear friends? Success or failure? That is my question to you. Success or failure? It looks like a failure. It looks like a failure. But this boy later became Mahatma Gandhi. I was talking about the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. So even Mahatma was directionless at one point of time, my dear friends. So I believe, my understanding is this, very simple, my dear friends. The earlier you decide what you want to become, forget about what all things you don't have. Forget about the handicaps you have in your life. If you are a person who can decide today, right now, if you can decide what you want to become in your life, then that is really going to happen in your life. It's all in your hands. Let's move ahead. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Fine. So we were talking about step number one. Step number one, we talked about having clarity in your life. Step number two, we are talking about the importance of having a process to reach your goal. So I've written the process is pretty much more important than the goal itself. So I'd like to share the example of a Chinese bamboo tree here. I hope you're aware of this. A Chinese bamboo tree, it takes 5 years of time to grow. A Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years of time to grow, which means at any point of time you stop watering the plant. At any point of time you stop giving manure to it. You stop giving fertilizer, you stop watering the plant, it will die. It takes 5 years to sprout. But after 5 years, once it starts to sprout, my dear friends, just within 5 weeks, it will reach a height of 100 feet. Just within 5 weeks, it is going to reach a height of 100 feet, my dear friends. So my question to all those people out here, how many years did it exactly take for the Chinese bamboo tree to grow? Is it 5 weeks or is it 5 months? 5 years. 5 weeks or 5 years? 5 years or 5 weeks is my question to you. 5 years or 5 weeks. Okay. Someone is given 5 weeks. Again, I'm getting a mixed response from you. The right answer is 5 years. So please understand, a lot of discipline has to be involved. A lot of discipline has to be involved if you want to achieve your goal. You'll have to work on it every single day. Let's move on, and let me come back to my screen. Okay. On the screen, you are seeing a very small island. Can someone identify this island? Very difficult, but still. Identify. Which place is this? Any ideas? Which place is that? Okay. How many of you have read the very famous book by Sir APJ Abdul Kalam, Ignited Minds, or probably Wings of Fire? How many of you have read this book, Wings of Fire? How many of you have read this book, Wings of Fire? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. I believe I'm a very lucky individual. I got an opportunity to meet and then interact with great Kalam sir twice in my life. And I still remember that was during my college days, first when I met him. Second, during my post-graduation, I have interacted with great Kalam twice in my life. I'm a very gifted human being. Now, Kalam sir, when he was the president of our country years back, when he had hardly 1 day left to step down from the post of the president of our country, this man went all the way to South Africa, and from Cape Town, he took a 2 hours of journey in a boat, and he reached an island, and that's the island which I had shown on the screen. He reached an island with the name Robben Islands. And if you closely observe, towards the middle of the island, there's a jail. And it's surrounded by water and all the ends, and the prisoners cannot escape. And if you take a cell inside the jail, each cell is 6.5 feet wide and 6.3 feet in height. 6.3 feet in height, 6.5 feet when it comes to the width of it. Sunlight will never come inside the cell. It's all pasted with metallic sheets. Just imagine a man who was 6.1 feet in height, an individual, a human being who was 6.1 feet in height, stayed inside the cell, not for 1 year, not for 5 years, not for 10 years, not for 12 years, but for a very long 14 years. And later he became the president of South Africa. You know the personality. His name is the great Nelson Mandela. So Kalam sir took 2 hours of journey in his boat, and he reached Robben Islands. He went to the jailer and he requested, I want to see the cell where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 14 long years of time. And he was given the permission. He went inside. The jailer locked him from outside. It took him only 15 seconds. And this man was shouting from inside, please open the door. He came out, traveled back another 2.5 hours of journey. He reached Cape Town. From there, he went directly to meet Nelson Mandela. He hugged Nelson Mandela and asked him, who motivated you to stay inside the cell for a very long period of time, like 14 long years? And Nelson Mandela replied, who else can motivate me other than the great Gandhi? So please understand the kind of determination. Please understand the kind of dedication this man had. 14 long years inside a jail where sunlight will not even come inside, right? So please understand, my dear friends, when we are talking about goals, after you have decided on what you want to become. What is even more important is the process that you will be following when it comes to achieving your goal. Let's move forward. And can someone tell me who was a person on the screen? Can someone identify this personality? This is again another beautiful example of a person. His name is Karoly Takis. Karoly. Karoly Takis is his name. And unlike what you see here on the screen, he was a right-handed shooter. He was a right-handed shooter. And this gentleman belonged to the Hungarian army. This gentleman belonged to the Hungarian army. And once during a mock drill, when the army was doing a someone is scribbling on the screen, advisable, you should not do that. Okay, thank you. Okay, fine. I hope I can continue, right? Am I audible? I can continue, right? Okay, thank you. So this gentleman belonged to the Hungarian army, and his right hand was known as the finest shooting hand in the world. And he was all set to win. He was all set to win the 1940 World Olympics. And people simply believed, took it for granted that in the 1940, when we'll be having the World Olympics, Karoly Takis from Hungary will be the winner in the event. But what happened? In the year 1938, when the army was doing a mock drill, a hand grenade exploded in his right hand. His right hand was his shooting hand, and this gentleman lost his right hand. It was really painful to see his Olympic gold medal dreams fading away in dust. But this man was a champion. And what he did, the very next year, in 1939, and between those time, this man started practicing with his left hand every single day. He practiced and he wanted to make his left hand the finest shooting arm in the world. The very next year, in 1939, he went for a national level championship. His friends were really happy and excited to see him, because they thought Karoly is here to clap and support for them. And Karoly Takis told, I'm not here to clap for you. I'm here to fight with you. And in that 1939 event, this man won gold medal. Now all eyes are on 1940. Will Karoly Takis win the gold medal? Will Karoly Takis win the gold medal with his left hand is what the entire world is watching. But 1940 Olympics got cancelled. Now the next Olympics will happen 4 years from now. That means 1944. So this man practiced again for 4 more years. And in 1944, again, the entire world thought this man will be the winner. But again, 1944 Olympics got cancelled, my dear friends. 4 years later, in 1948, the Olympics happened. And his age at that point of time was 38. And this man won gold medal. And not only that, in 1952 Rome Olympics as well, Karoly Takis was a winner. And there's a very beautiful sentence which Karoly Takis gives as a message to everyone. And he tells, the right attitude and one arm is always going to beat the wrong attitude and 2 arms at every time. So please understand the dedication, the kind of determination you put into work. The process is also equally important when it comes to goal setting, my dear friends. So I'll be taking 5 more minutes. Will that be fine? If I take 5 more minutes, will that be fine for you? I'll quickly wind up. Will that be fine if I take 5 more minutes? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I wanted to communicate something. Some of you who have joined us late, probably on Facebook Live, there are a lot of people have joined. If you have joined late on the Facebook Live, I request you again to like our Facebook page. This is going to be a space where a lot of training programs are already planned for you in the pipeline. And every week you can expect something new, something beautiful, which is really going to help you in your career. That might be a motivation class, right? It can be something related to your studies. It might be something related to your career. It might be related to your exam preparation, right? So a lot of areas we are targeting, and very soon on all our platforms. Let this be on Facebook or let it be on YouTube. Again, on YouTube with the same name, Password Publishing House, we have another channel, and advisable you should subscribe our channel as well. So if there is someone out here who has joined us late, see to it that you like our page, you give your comments out there, and you also subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Okay, so let us move to the last leg of our journey together. So the question, what is the difference between a champion and a winner? That's a question for you. What is the difference between a champion and a winner? Can you give me answers for that? Who is a champion and who is a winner? What is the difference? Please give me your answers for that. Probably that would be the last set of questions from mine. Okay, someone has commented a winner is someone who wins something. Okay, that's very simple. I would like to go for a champion. Okay, any other answers? What is the difference between a champion and a winner? Champion is the winner of winners. Okay, I got another answer. Thank you very much for that. Champion is the one who wins hearts. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move back. Let's move back to the slide. 5 more minutes of your beautiful time, and we are done, my dear friends. Thank you very much for being with me so far. So, differences is champions are people who have made winning a habit. On the screen, you will find Usain Bolt, the Jamaican sprint runner. If you take all the seconds together, mostly he competes for 100 meters, 200 meters, 4 into 100 meters relay. These are the the areas where he normally competes. If you take all his Olympic performance together, can someone tell me for how many seconds this man might have ran on the track? How many seconds put together in all the Olympics in which he participated and he won medals? How many? How many seconds? How many minutes of time? Can you give me your point of view on that? Okay. 58 seconds at 20 minutes, 5, 6. Okay, fine. I'm wondering whether it is minutes or seconds. Okay. Put together Usain Bolt so far on the track, on the Olympic track, my dear friends. This man, I would say my understanding is that it is somewhere close to 325 seconds. 325 seconds only this man was there as a performer on the Olympic track. But to reach there at that point of time, to reach there, just imagine the kind of hard work, the kind of practice he does every day. Hours of practice starting early in the morning to reach that place. So process is very important. There is also something what we call as 10,000 hours rule, which means if you want to be a master, if you want to be a maestro when it comes to doing something, let it be entertainment, let it be sports, let it be studies. If you want to be a master at something, you have to invest 10,000 hours of quality time. Sachin Tendulkar, the finest batsman the world has ever seen, invested 10,000 hours playing cricket on the field. A.R. Rahman, the finest music director, was tuning music for 10,000 hours before he became the finest music director. So please understand, the process is very, very important when it comes to your goal setting. Let's move to the last 2 minutes of our journey. And step number 3. And step number 3 is very simple. You will have to be very confident throughout your journey. So on the screen, again, you have another picture. I don't have a time for interaction or questions here on. I'll just take probably 2 to 3 minutes of your time, and then we'll tell Tata bye-bye to everyone. So like you see here on the screen, you could see Sachin Tendulkar, Little Master. And then behind him, you can see Yuvraj Singh. And you will find a person celebrating. And why the celebration is because the gentleman has taken Sachin Tendulkar's wicket. And his name is Brad Hogue. And this is Brad Hogue's first one-day international match. And the first match he played in his career was against India. And the first wicket he took in his career was that of Sachin Tendulkar's. This man was so happy, excited, he went mad that day. After the match got over, he went to the umpire on the field and he requested the cricket ball with which he took Sachin Tendulkar's wicket. And the umpire gave the ball in his hand. It was like World Cup trophy for him. And this man went running to meet Sachin Tendulkar in his dressing room. He gave the cricket ball in Sachin Tendulkar's hand. And he requested, sir, I need a small autograph. I need a signature on this ball. It is with this ball I have taken your wicket. And Sachin was really tired after the day's tiring match. He took a small marker pen. He scribbled something and gave it back to Brad Hogg. Brad Hogg thanked Sachin and he came out. And then he was quickly reading what was written. It was written on the ball in big, bold, capital letters. This will never happen again. What was written? It was written in big, bold, capital letters, my dear friends, scribbled by Sachin. This will never happen again, which means in the long run, you're not going to make, or you're not going to take my wicket for the next time. And what is the beauty of this sentence is this: 27 times after this incident, they both are played against each other. And both of them, they are retired from world cricket today. But for the second time, Brad Hogg couldn't take Sachin's wicket. This is what we call as confidence, my dear friends. So number one is all about having a goal. Number two is a process that you follow every single day to reach your goal. And very importantly, point number three is the confidence you portray every time you are focused on the goal. Let us come to the last set of slides. And I want you to read what is there on the screen. Please read what is there on the screen. Last 1 minute of our journey together. Please read what is there on the screen. These are the words of Beno Safine. Beno Safine is from Chennai, and she is the first 100% blind IFS officer from India. India's first 100% blind IFS officer, great Beno Safine. A beautiful sentence from her. She tells, during an interview, someone asked her, how was it really possible for you to reach your goal? You're 100% blind. How did you make it? And Beno Safine replied, the idea of becoming a civil servant, the idea of becoming an IFS officer, it got into my brain first, and then it got mixed with my blood. The idea of becoming a IFS officer, it went into my brain first, and then it got mixed with my blood. That's what she does. So that is the way you have to set your goals, my dear friends. And the last set of slides. So here on what you should do. Number one is figure out what is your passion. Try to figure out what is it that you love to do in your life. It need not be every time studying. It need not be every time studying. It can be sports, it might be entertainment. Figure out what is it that you really want to do in your life. This is what we call as passion. Your passion should become your profession. Your passion should become your career. Look at me, I'm a trainer. I'm in the training field since the last 6 years. I love training and I'm a trainer. This is my profession. I love what I do, right? So figure out what is your passion. Second is think beyond your school and college. Forget about the pandemic that is happening. Always look beyond your school and college. If you are a person who want to be into engineering, there are n number of courses available at this point of time. There are n number of courses. Or you are a person who love to code. Again, plethora of options in front of you. You are a person who is interested in psychology. It doesn't matter what is it that you would love to become in your life. You have options available at this point of time. Start early. And the third thing is, it's not just the content. It is also important that you should sharpen your skills as well. We have two kinds of skills. Number one is hard, the second is soft. Hard is what we call as academic skills. Whatever you are gaining from your school and college, that is what I call as your hard skills. Second is what we call as soft skills. Your ability to communicate, your leadership quality, your ability to work in a team. These are all skills which you need in real life, my dear friends. So figure out what is the kind of areas where you are weak. If you want to end up in a profession which you love to do, right? You want to become something. Figure out what are the relevant skills which will help you to take there, to reach there. So figure out all those skills and start practicing from today onwards and build habits. Last 30 seconds of our journey together, and I'm forced to ask you one more question. What is the difference between a person who succeeded and a person who failed in his life? The answer is not goals. My question to you. What is the difference between a person who succeeded and a person who failed? What is the difference? Can you give me your beautiful answers? What is the difference between a person who succeeded and a person who failed in his life? The difference, my dear friends, is in habits. Or I can give it to you this way. Successful people had habits which ordinary people never wanted to do. Nobody loves to wake up early in the morning. Nobody loves to study. Nobody loves to read continuously for hours. Nobody loves listening to a teacher taking class online continuously for hours. But when you do things which you don't want to do, you're really going to get few things which you really want in life. And what you want at this point of time is direction, clarity, and that is possible only if, my dear friends, you figure out what you want to do with this life today. And coming to the last slide, I would say there is a genie hidden inside each and every one of you. So figure out the genie, right? So it's all inside. It's all inside. It's all about motivation. It's all about how you think about yourself. What you thinketh, you become, my dear friends. So thank you very much for being with me for 1 hour 10 minutes of time. I took 10 extra more minutes of time. I was really happy and excited to see the kind of response I got. Thank you very much again from Password Publishing House to all those beautiful people who joined us on Zoom and on Facebook platform as well. Let me remind you again, please do give your support by liking our page, subscribing to our channel, and let us be hopeful that we'll meet again next month, again with another topic which will really going to help you when it comes to your career, when it comes to figuring out what you want to do with your life. So thank you very much again, and let us be hopeful that we'll meet again soon. I request everyone to give your comments in the chat box. Please give your comments about the session, how it went, was it useful for you, or you have any suggestions to me, right? Please give your valuable comments there, and we'll be in touch with you. Please do support us, right? And every week we'll be uploading some content on all our platforms. So if you have subscribed, then you're going to benefit a lot out of this. So thank you very much, my dear friends. Wishing you all a great evening. May Lord Almighty bless you with everything the way you want in your life. Thank you very much. Thank you.